Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to Exabytes webinar. My name is Munira and I am your MC for today. We are excited to have you join us. Thank you so much for your participation. With the drastic increase of cyber threats today, our session today will revolve around cybersecurity, and with it, we hope to build higher awareness around the buzzword cybersecurity and the importance of practicing prevention rather than cure. Throughout the webinar, feel free to post your questions in the Q&A box and we will get right to it during Q&A session. So without further ado, let me introduce our guest speakers. We have Michelle Yap, Assistant Vice President of Group Marketing, Exabytes Group. Eric Fu, Executive Vice President and Head of Enterprise Business, Exabytes Group. Kevin Fu, Head of Cybersecurity, Exabytes Group. And also Iza Ramatlani, Solutions Engineer, SEA, Acronyms Asia Private Limited. Let's begin our session with a warm welcome from Ms. Michelle Yap, Assistant Vice President of Group Marketing, Exabytes Group. Ms. Michelle Yap.
Hi, thank you, Munira. A very delightful morning to all the participants today, and of course, also our guest speakers. Now, thank you for taking the time to be here. I'm so pleased to see that this topic has raised interest in so many of you. And I also believe that we will see exponential increase in interest in this topic in the near future. So it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to our cybersecurity webinar, which is held in conjunction with Cybersecurity Month. And we hope to continuously drive awareness of the importance of cybersecurity, especially amongst small, medium, and large companies, where you learn how to leverage or adopt the right solutions to protect yourselves and your businesses against cyber threats. So with that, I wish all of us and all of you a successful webinar. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Michelle, for the warm welcome. Before we move into another agenda, I would like to invite Ms. Michelle, Mr. Eric, Mr. Kevin, and also Mr. Iza to take a picture together first. So you can turn on your camera. We will have a photo session together right now. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, all speakers today. So yeah, you can always look at the camera right now, and I will say smile 1, 2, 3. All right. Can. All right. So 1, 2, 3, smile. All right. Okay. And again, 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, so thank you so much. All right, now let's move forward. Now we would like to invite our first guest speaker, Mr. Eric Fu, Executive Vice President and Head of Enterprise Business, Exabytes Group. He will be sharing his knowledge and experience in Exabytes Enterprise Managed Security Service, MSS. Mr. Eric Fu.
Okay, I'll just start now. Today I'm going to share with you about Exabytes Enterprise Managed Security Services, or in short, MSS. So let me just quickly run through like about 10-15 slides so that I can share with you some of the high level, of the security protection concept and what are the offerings that we have from Exabytes. So I'm from the Exabytes Enterprise Business Division. So we have 3 main business directions within this business unit. So number 1 is what we do is everything as a service, and we focus on pay-as-you-grow business model. Secondly, we actually focus on cloud-centric solutions and managed services as per the tagline under our logo. As you can see, Exabytes Enterprise, we are cloud-first digital transformation services. So what we do is very cloud-centric. And also we focus on providing managed services to complement our customers' IT requirements. Thirdly, we focus on service level agreement to drive the business transformation and also to support our customers in providing flexible and reliable solutions and services. So this is Exabytes Enterprise Business Unit. So What we do is to support our customers' digital transformation journey. And if you look at the slides bottom here, we have broken down digital transformation to D1, D2, D3. So as the customer go through this journey of digital transformation, the challenge is always these three areas, right? Which is people, process, and technology. Technology is least of the problem because it's just about investment. So if you have the budget, you can purchase the technology that you need. Then the second challenge is always the processes. So there are best practices in the industry, for example, the ISO 27001 and some of the other standards in the industry to follow. So this is the next challenge that the business will face, in order to have a proper business process and also IT-related processes in place. But the most challenged part is really the people. So the people include the internal technical resources and also the related parties to support the IT implementation. So technical skill set is very difficult to hire and also even more difficult to retain. So that's where Exabytes come in as a one-stop cloud solution and managed service provider, where we can complement our customers' challenges in having those internal skill set, and also looking at some of the ways to have a more cost-effective way of implementing IT solution and services. So with that, we have come out with these 7 pillars of solution and services. First being our multi-cloud strategy, where we will provide customers with options of going to a different cloud platform. Then we have the security as a pillar. So today I'm going to zoom into this particular pillar to share with you more about our solution and services. Thirdly, we have backup, and then we have our DR as a service. So these two goes hand in hand, right? So the most important asset to protect in any business is data. So having a proper backup strategy and also having a proper disaster recovery will ensure your business continuity. Then we have integration platform as a service. So this is important as customers moving their legacy system to the cloud environment or modernize the application. So the integration platform or a middleware is required when you deploy this type of solution and new services. Then we have the cloud app pillar. So this pillar is basically our partner ecosystem. So all the partners that we have selected within these pillars are cloud-centric, and they provide a software as a service business model. So together with our partners, we will be able to provide an end-to-end solutions for our customers, focusing on cloud platform. Last but not least, our e-commerce pillar. This is where we provide our new retail offline merge online platform. And we also have a series of digital marketing services that we can offer to our customer. So this is a high level one page of what Exabytes Enterprise has to offer. So specifically for the cybersecurity product pillar, these are the main solution and services that we focus on, and we believe in zero trust, and we want to focus on the 24/7 monitoring so that we can enable the highest protection for our customers. First of all is about cloud security and assessment services. So this is important because we believe that whatever platform you're on, whether on-premise or on cloud, a continuous assessment and a continuous monitoring is important. And that's why we have a 24/7 cybersecurity team in-house, where we will provide customers a service to look at the customer environment on a 24/7 basis. We also provide a managed endpoint security. So this is the endpoint detection and response kind of solution. And we provide it as a service so that our customers do not need to worry about having people to monitor the environment themselves. Then we have this credential and access management. So this is important because especially the critical system, the administrator typically will need to memorize their own password. And when particular staff leave the organization, a lot of the time, the certain or certain party may forget to delete the particular user ID or password, and then that's where an exposure may happen. So with this solution, we actually can provide a system-generated password for any critical systems, and we have the audit trail as well as multi-factor authentication. So more and more customers now are going into a this type of solution so that to ensure a privileged access is being managed properly. Then we have email security. So this is quite common already in most of the businesses, where the system will filter out the spam or any potential malware before going into the email systems. Okay. Last but not least, this is the anti-DDoS and the web application firewall solution. So this is a very important solution as well, so that whatever application that is hosted on the web is being protected. So what are the challenges in managing cybersecurity? So first of all, like I mentioned earlier, people is always the issue. So shortage and attrition of skilled and experienced cybersecurity personnel is always a big challenge to businesses. Then you have the stringent government policies on cybersecurity standards and compliance, especially in the FSI industry. A lot of the standards and the guidelines are quite stringent, and the businesses will have to follow. Then the growing number of unknown cyber threats, on a daily basis, there will be actually new threats, happening within the industry. And if the unknown threats really in your environment is like a time bomb, right? So when they explode, then it's too late. There's also a challenge of having the visibility of your environment, right? So if you do not know what you have, and because of the business changes, because of the market demand, so there's always constant change in your environment. And if you don't have the visibility, so that is also an exposure. And this last point here is about whether you have a 24/7 cybersecurity team that is monitoring your environment. And most businesses today do not have this capability. So these are the challenges faced by the business today. And it's no longer the questions of if, but when you are being attacked, or you're targeted by the hackers or the malware or the ransomware. Whether you have the capabilities to tackle it, whether you have the capabilities to identify the anomalies happening within your environment before the actual compromise impact happen. So this is important, as you can see from these slides. The attack could be coming in from different area within your environment. It could be coming in from your end user laptop or PC, where a malware could be infecting your laptop or PC, or even a phishing email coming in, and an ignorance user could be clicking on a link or a file, and that's where your laptop or PC could be infected, and then the malware could be, going through your internet network and going all the way into your backend systems. It could be also coming in from the internet, where, for example, a denial of service or distributed denial of service, or DDoS, could be happening, jamming up your web access. Or it could be also brute force coming into your backend system, trying to access your important data. Or there are many other typical attacks within the environment that is happening in the market. But I think this is probably one of the common one, is the ransomware, where you lock down your database and then ask for ransom. So what we are trying to protect here is always the data, all the important application servers, or the web servers that is from your backend. And the backend could be on-premise or on cloud. So this is no longer the something new in the industry, but really how do we then provide the protections to the business. So there's this framework that is commonly known, which are these 5 steps here. And because of the constant change of the business, so this is really a continuous cycle, right? From identifying what you have, what are the critical systems you have, what are the assets you have in your environment, protecting it, including having the access control, like I mentioned earlier, and then having the capabilities to have a constant or 24/7 detection and response capabilities. And then if, let's say, you really compromise or there's an impact to your business, then how do you recover from it? And then it will go through that whole cycle again. So this is really a continuous effort, for any business to have a proper protection against cyber threats. So it's all about people, process, and technology, right? And people drive the process and technology, but the people is also the main challenge in digital transformation because of the limited technical skill set, limited talent in the market, and it's really, really difficult to keep them. So as the business go through digital transformation, they are also at the same time exposed to cybersecurity threats. Right? So finding these sweet spots here is always a challenge, balancing the people, process, and technology. So cybersecurity talent is one of the key issues, and enterprises, therefore, today are moving towards getting help from the external parties. These parties will, similar to what we provide here, is called the Managed Security Service Provider, or MSSP. So as an MSSP, what we are doing here is monitoring the customer environment through correlation in terms of detecting any anomalies happening within the environment. So the anomalies could be things like this, like brute force, DDoS, and so on. It could be some suspicious activities happening within the environment or unauthorized activities. So all this actually can be tracked through the logs that we collect from the environment. And when we correlate with the threat intelligence database, we can find out whether those are the true threats to the environment or that is a false positive. So we can only do so by having a proper platform, having the proper logs collected, and having trained security analysts, analyzing all these logs. So this is important when providing a detection and response capabilities. So breaches are inevitable, but the outcome is not. So what do I mean by this is, if you look at the attack cycle here, nowadays when hackers or a malware is trying to attack a business environment, typically is a targeted victim, right? So before the attack, there will be background check, there will be intelligence gathering, and then we'll try to gain access to an environment. And once you get into environments, it will strengthen the access and try to get the privilege to go into your critical system and identify the data to be stolen or to encrypt for ransomware. And this is when compromise actually happen and the impact will actually happen. So the different types, like I mentioned earlier, could happen when it comes to attacking a targeted business environment. And what we are trying to avoid is the impact here, right? Where there could be data loss, money loss, or reputation being tarnished. So from the breach until the impact, there's typically this time of between 6 to 9 months, typically, right, that you can do something about it. So the idea is having a 24/7 monitoring capabilities, detection and response is important, right? And the idea is to reduce the time from discovery until resolution. That means as soon as you can identify a breach happened within your environment and then you do something about it, the chances are you will be able to avoid the impact to your business. And we can only do so by having a 24/7 SOC kind of service or platform, collecting all the logs, correlating it, and also detecting any anomalies. And once it's detected, a proper escalation is in place, and then the response team or even the PIC within the customer environment, do something about rectifying the gap. So this is the idea of, why is it important within the cybersecurity protection framework? Detection and response is critical items, to be executed. And this is the high-level concept of a SOC monitoring and response services. So on your left-hand side is the customer environment. On the right-hand side is a SOC provider. So in this case, it's Exabytes, SOC, and MSS team, right? So the idea is, regardless of the environment the customer is in, it could be in a multi-cloud environment, on-premise, or even branches having certain server or systems. And all these logs, from all these various systems are being collected and pushed through our environments for our log decoder to correlate with the intelligent threat database. So our team here will be providing a 24/7 monitoring, and then any anomalies will be escalated to our call center, and the ticket will be logged and will be tracked until the issue is rectified. Right, the rectification can be from our team, or it could be from the cybersecurity PIC within the customer environment. And all these are the services provided as part of the offering. And there will be a monthly report generated to submit to the customers to look at, what happened the previous month, what are the gaps and what has been done. So the analogy will be like this: if this is your house and what you have to protect is the data, and you'll be having like your fence and your door and your lock and everything's already all done up, right? But as mentioned earlier, is a breach will definitely happen, if you are being targeted. So collecting the log is like installing CCTV around your house, right? And capturing all the information and then push it to a command control center with a team of security guards monitoring the environment. So if any suspicious activities, so the guards will be deployed to go and check things out before the actual break-ins, happen or any intrusion may happen. So the idea is really to have a 24/7 visibility of what's happening within your environment and having a highly trained team that is helping you to monitor your environment, take appropriate action when things happen. So this is the whole idea of detection and response capabilities. And upon identifying any anomalies, we normally will classify it into like P1, P2, P3, and P4 so that we can have a different escalation model, right? So P1 being the most urgent, and typically this may be things like, there's already a system or network down situation because of a cyber attack, or could be a DDoS attack. And normally we will have an SLA already spelled out to provide a certain response time and even resolution time to our customers. Okay. And a bit more details of the escalation channel. So we have already defined the process flow, depending on the severities and how we're going to assign to, whichever team. And this typically will be discussed and agreed, between a service provider like us and the customer. So one of the key benefits of having a managed service provider is really, leveraging on the team here and also the service desk, so that every single incident ticket will be logged and tracked, and the report can be generated accordingly as well. So this is my last slide. So Exabytes provide the entire 7 pillars that I mentioned earlier that can actually, complement our customer backend system, right? And specifically for today, we just want to highlight that it's important to have a different layer of protection against, any potential cyber threats, from the network layer to the system backend, or from the end user perspective, right? And more importantly, having this detection and response capability equivalent to a 24/7 SOC services, so that the customer can have the highest protection possible, and to ensure the business continuity and also minimize the exposure to any potential threats. So I hope that, a short 10-15 minutes, I have been able to share with you some of the ideas and concept. You can scan the QR code here, which is my digital business card. And I pass back to you, MC. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Eric, for that insightful perspective on Exabytes Enterprise Managed Security Service, MSS. It's definitely an area which most companies are paying more attention to. Again, if you have any question for Mr. Eric, be sure to post it into the Q&A box. All questions will be addressed during Q&A session. Thank you again, Mr. Eric. Now let's move on to our next guest speaker, Mr. Kevin Fu, Head of Cybersecurity Exabytes Group, to share with us his views and knowledge on what we need to know about latest ransomware and cyber attacks happening in our world today. Let's welcome Mr. Kevin Fu. Mr. Kevin Fu.
Thanks, Siti. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. My name is Kevin Fu. I'm Head of Cybersecurity for Exabytes Group. So today I'll be sharing the things that you need to know about the latest ransomware attack and the latest ransomware and cybersecurity attack. So let's dive in. Is the screen okay?
Maybe you
can you see my slide?
Maybe you can first turn on your camera if you wish to do that. And yeah, you can start your screen right now.
Hang on.
All right, Ken.
I think hang on. There. Okay. So everyone can see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let's dive in. Firstly, let's take a look at some of the stats and what is actually in the news. So we can see that firstly is the data breaches. So we can see that Indonesia is actually one of the top among the region, but please do not be intimidated by this statistic, because the statistic ranking is actually based on the number of records breaches. So because Indonesia has a bigger population in this region, so that's why the number of data breaches might not reflect the true, what they call it, cybersecurity capability there. So next, let's go into the one that in the news. For data breaches, so you can see, so I specifically picked some of these because I think it's actually give us some observation there. Firstly, you can see that whether you use cash or payment card to transact, whether you transact offline or online, you can still be a victim of data breaches. We can see that in the case of like Optus data breach, just being a registered mobile user, so your data is actually being leaked. And there's actually a little things that we can do on this one, because the data is actually stored on the system of those service provider or the government system. So in fact, one might even think that having a coffee also will get us into what call a victim of data breaches, right? So this is kind of crazy as well, this incident. And let's move on to the ransomware. For ransomware attack, I think there's no stat for Indonesia, but you can see that Malaysia is actually one of the highest, which is like 79% of Malaysia organizations were hit by the ransomware. Singapore is actually at 65%, and actually is higher than the global average of 66%. So this is quite scary, right? And also, if you drill down and you check the average ransom payment for Malaysia and Singapore, it's actually quite high as well. It's like Malaysia is around 900,000 USD. Singapore is actually 1.16 million USD. So both countries also register the highest than the average of the global average. So you can check out the source from Sophie's State of Ransomware. So next, we actually will go on and look at ransomware trends. Ransomware as a service is nothing really new, but you can see that it's actually evolving. So we can see now even the mafia or the gang, they don't even have to have what they call it, the technical person to run the infrastructure, to do the coding. So the business model is actually evolving. They actually came up with some like profit splitting between the attacker and the Rust developer. So the other things that is quite astonishing to see is actually the ransomware platform, development platform, they have a bugs bounty program. Bugs bounty program is something that rewarding system for finding a bugs in the system. So you can see Lockbit 3.0 officially include this in their development. So next, we will look at the evolving techniques that the ransomware gangs is actually using. So in a traditional ransomware attack, so you can see most common one will be the locker and the crypto. So locker is actually something that they will lock certain function of the system. And this one is actually quite obsolete today. And then the newer one is actually more popular is the crypto ransomware. So the crypto ransomware, they actually will encrypt all your important files, and then they will extort money from you. And I have here is an example of the ransomware attack in stages. So you can see the initial compromise is actually coming from phishing. Yes, phishing is still the first attack vector. And secondly, you can see RDP exploitation also one of the attack vector as well. So by going through brute force RTP access. So unfortunately, you can see still a lot of what you call RDP access is actually exposed to the internet. That's why this is also one of the popular way to get the initial compromise. Next, we are seeing things like the watering hole. So watering hole is something a targeted attack. So if let's say an organizations like banking institute, they have their association. So the website of those association being attacked, and the malware is actually being planted there. So when you actually go and visit the website, you probably will get downloaded the dropper, and the dropper will actually will run on your system, and you will get the ransomware, right? So the other one is drive-by. Drive-by is like when you install a piece of software, and the software actually install another piece of software without your consent. So this is quite dangerous as well. And move on to the next stage, you will see the attacker actually try to gain access to the administrative access to your system. And then by going through brute force or going through the system vulnerability. And then so the attackers want to create a greater blast radius. So they actually try to gain a lateral movement by gaining access to other systems in your environment or the network. And data exfiltrations is actually the one that we see in the technique used for data corruption. So so they actually will exfiltrate the data through FTP, SFTP, some of the web depth as well. And then lastly, we'll see the deployment of the data encryption or the corruption. So what is the data corruption? So in the traditional attack, right? So the threat actor or the ransomware gang, they actually will just encrypt your data, and they will actually blackmail you for the money. But in data corruption method, right, they actually will do data exfiltration first, and then they will corrupt your data, and then they will ask for the ransom. So why this method is actually more superior and gaining some popularity among the ransomware operators, because this one, you know, when they can actually avoid the detection from what they call this endpoint security, like EDR or the antivirus, because they are not doing encryption operation. So when you do encryption of a file, you're actually overriding the file block by block with the random data or the cipher there. So, but this type of attack is actually not really useful for exfiltrate a large file. For example, virtual disks or virtual machines, which is the file size will be like in few data, few terabyte. So the ransomware guys actually acknowledge this, because they actually hard-coded the file type and the file size limit in the tools. And also more and more what you call it, ransomware software is actually they actually bundle the exfiltration tools such as the X-Metal. This one we actually observe in the ransomware software like black metals. So move on to next. The other technique that they use is actually called intermittent encryption. So how the ransomware gang does the what do you call it? The encryption is by skipping certain block of or certain file block in your file, and they only encrypt certain part of it. So by doing this, is actually I won't say it will be faster, but it's actually will make it harder for you to decrypt the file. So this one, because if you don't know the encryption parameter, right, so it's actually quite tough for you to decrypt. Even you have the decryption key. So if you don't know the intermittent encryption parameters, so you can't really decrypt the key. So I have two examples here. So both of them is actually from research from Sentinel Labs. You can see Agenda ransomware and the Black Pasta. So we can see on the right, partial of the file is actually being encrypted with random cipher, right? So the other important things that nowadays the ransomware gangs is doing is that they actually going for a multi-architecture platform instead of just one single platform, right? So they actually wanted to increase their coverage. So they only developed one system to cover all the OS, the architecture as well. So you can see this when some of the ransomware actually developed in what they call it, cross-platform programming language like Golang and Rush. So these two programming languages are actually gaining a popularity. So next we can see like when ransomware, when the threat actor, so they encrypt your file or your info, they only demand a ransom in exchange for the decryption key, right? So now with double extortion, so if you refuse to pay the ransom, they will actually sell your data in the, they actually will leak or sell your data in the dark web. So, and also there's a, what do you call it? Another observation, right? There's a triple extortion as well. So, so if double extortion doesn't really work, so they actually will extort the money from associate party. Let's say it is your data that being leaked from the service provider. So they will actually send you asking you to pay the ransom. So some of the prediction that I can make now is actually because we are seeing more and more VMware EXXI targeted ransomware. So this one is actually part of the cloud platform or the infrastructure that we are seeing. So the next one, I think the ransomware will actually target the public cloud service provider. So it will be like cloud native ransomware. So like AWS, they actually support the KMS. So you can actually put in a master key, and then you actually can what do you call it, encrypt your virtual disk or like the EBS volume or something. So if let's say the ransomware gang is using this type of method, so it actually will work in what do you call it, the public cloud infrastructure as well. And also one of the prediction or the observation we are seeing, the ransomware is actually the ransomware gang is actually targeting a smaller bodies, individuals, and they're actually asking for a lower sum of ransom. This one is it's actually good for them to actually to ensure that they actually can collect back the ransom money, because if they are asking for like millions of dollar in cryptocurrency, the chances of them getting the ransom is quite low. But to be frank, there's a statistic saying that almost like 65% of the victim will actually pay the ransom. And the other thing is actually the cyber insurance premium. So you can see on the right hand side, you can see the cyber insurance demands actually up by a very alarming rate as well. So the demand will for cybersecurity insurance up by almost 92%. Some of it, the lowest is still 85%. So what should we do to protect ourselves? And it's actually I would say prevention is still better than cure, because you can see on your right hand side, the average cost to organization to rectify the attack is quite huge. I would say the amount. For Malaysia, you can see the amount for last year, 2020 and 21. 2021 is actually 1.22 million. For Singapore, it's about 1.91 million. So the amount is to rectify the issue is quite I would say quite a lot. And then because you have to engage a party to do the IR for you to fix the problem, to do forensic and everything. So when we talk about protection to ourselves, so there's two very important aspects that we can actually do. First is actually on human aspect, right? So we can do like training, advanced training for our staff So some basic things that we should avoid, like avoid opening suspicious email or link directly from email, and also like avoid visiting suspicious website with your work computer. So technology-wise, we can actually continue to invest on things like backup and recovery solution, and also the endpoint protection for the system is actually still quite relevant and quite important. And because of the attack vector for ransomware and is still coming from email, so email protection solution also quite relevant. The last thing is actually you should actually update and patch your system regularly. So key takeaway from my sharing today. So you can see from the observation from the news that cyber attacks actually affect all of us. So for ransomware attack, so they are getting, the threat actor is actually getting more and more creative with their techniques, operation model. And the other observation you can see is actually that the data breaches is actually part and parcel of ransomware attack now. And the Rust platform still evolving. So you will see that they have a kind of rewarding system for bugs finding as well. And double and triple extortion is actually become gaining a popularity as well. And the other thing is the recovery from the cyber attack is actually costly, especially on ransomware. So you have to do IR, you have to engage IR, you have to, if you can't find the decryption key, probably if your data is very, very important, then you might need to pay the ransomware, pay the ransom, but that is not really encouraged. But anyway, if the other things that actually costly is actually when we notify the authorities, so most likely the organization will be actually slapped with a huge fine as well. So the only things that we can do is continue to invest in people and the prevention tools, right? So like I mentioned, awareness training is still relevant here, and backup and recovery solution, endpoint protection, and also we call it upgrade the system regularly. So like I say, prevention is still better than cure. That's end of my sharing. Thank you all. If you have any question, you can actually put in the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin Fu, for sharing that piece with us and how we can better equip ourselves to be more aware starting today. If you have any questions again, okay, for Mr. Kevin, be sure to post it into the Q&A box. All questions will be addressed during Q&A session. Thank you again, Mr. Kevin. One of my key takeouts is as cybercrimes become even more prevalent, tactical improvement just are not enough. Remain resilient as technology and the nature of cyber attacks evolve. So you know what? We need to do our part to ensure we and our business are protected. Now we will have a short break first. So see you shortly after the 5 minutes break. All right?
Exabytes is Southeast Asia's leading cloud hosting provider since 2001, with 20 years of experience. But today, we are more than that. We power over 160,000 businesses worldwide, covering SMEs, government agencies, corporate companies, individuals, and more, offering domain name, web hosting, server, cloud, managed e-commerce, digital marketing, business solutions, marketing tools, and more. With our core values in mind: reliable, affordable, simplified, and advantage. Using the power of technology to grow your business online. Exabytes, Southeast Asia's leading all-in-one business, cloud, digital, and e-commerce solution provider.
Exabytes, grow your business online.
Exabytes is Southeast Asia's leading cloud hosting provider since 2001, with 20 years of experience. But today, we are more than that. We power over 160,000 businesses worldwide, covering SMEs, government agencies, corporate companies, individuals, and more, offering domain name, web hosting, server, cloud, managed e-commerce, digital marketing, business solutions, marketing tools, and more. With our core values in mind: reliable, affordable, simplified, and advantage. Using the power of technology to grow your business online. Exabytes, Southeast Asia's leading all-in-one business, cloud, digital, and e-commerce solution provider.
Exabytes, grow your business online.
Okay, welcome back everyone. Now we would like to invite our final guest speaker, Mr. Izzar Ramalani, Solutions Engineer SEA, Acronis Asia Private Limited, to give his sharing on the title, Modernize Your Cybersecurity and Backup with Integrated Cyber Protection. Mr. Izzar, you can share your screen right now.
My screen visible?
Yes, we can see your slide.
Great. Okay, so we can start. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining today's session, today's webinar, right? And for today, let me introduce myself first. I'm Irzal. I'm based in Indonesia, actually. And then currently, I'm a solution engineer at Acronis. Okay, so for today's session, I would like to discuss, share with you about Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud here, right? And then first of all, I would like to, give you some overview and brief about Acronis. Acronis is a Swiss Singaporean leader in cyber protection, founded in Singapore in 2003 with international headquarters based in Singapore now, and then corporate headquarters in Schaffhausen, Switzerland since 2008. Since the company was founded, over 50,000 partners transacted with Acronis. So there are over 500,000 corporate customers and over 5.5 million prosumers and home businesses. Acronis is a global company with 1,500 employees in 33 locations worldwide. And the products are available in more than 150 countries and are localized to over 33 languages. Okay, Acronis journey. Basically, this is a pretty much history of Acronis as we evolve from just a backup solution to end-to-end cyber protection solution. And almost 20 years next year, right, in the market. We have a lot of data center worldwide, right? 41 plus 7 data center here. And coming soon, we will build a data center in Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and Taiwan. Okay, let's go to the solution here, right? So what is Acronis cyber protection? Acronis cyber protection is a unique integration of backup with full stack next generation anti-malware and comprehensive endpoint management tools. This synergy will eliminate complexity so you can protect better while keeping costs down. Right, this all-in-one cyber protection solution that integrates the backup and recovery, of course, patch management, malware prevention, security controls, remote assistance, monitoring and reporting, and so on and so forth. These addresses all 5 stages of protection by prevent, detect the attack, of course, automated response to the threat, recovery, and forensics if needed. Currently, to increase productivity and keep user error at bay, working with just one solution for all your needs rather than switching between pre-use case tools, right? So Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud is support over 20 plus workloads. It supports a major hypervisor with agentless backup for VMware vSphere, Microsoft Hyper-V Virtuoso, and so on and so forth. For Linux, Windows, of course, and Mac desktop and server, right? And it protects all environments in a local data center or in a private cloud or in a public cloud like AWS or Azure, right? In addition to backup and recovery, we also support Office 365 and Google Workspace backup. We can backup SharePoint, Mailbox, OneDrive, Teams, right? Shared folder, it's also possible. Okay. And we also support the application-aware backup for several Microsoft applications like Exchange, SQL Server, okay, Active Directory also. We support to backup iPhone, iPad, or Android mobile device. Plus, we can also backup a website, right? Okay, for backup, we support full image and file level backup. Yeah, this is how the interface looks like, right? Okay, I'm sorry not to inform that. We will have 2 different sessions. First, a slide presentation, and the second one is a live demo session, okay? So you will see the exact interfaces on the slides, right, later on. So this is basically our protection plan, right? in one protection plan, you can apply the backup, you can apply the anti-ransomware, and also patch management, hardware inventory. It's also possible, right? So one policy for everything, one policy for everything you need, one policy to secure your endpoint, of course. Even if you do an image backup, full image backup, you can also recover the backup granularly. So you don't have to create two different backup plan, because in Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud, you only need to create one single protection plan and enable the entire machine backup or full image backup. And then later on, you can recover or restore the backup to the whole machine, entire machine recovery, or only a specific files and folders. It's also possible. In terms of location, Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud is also support to store the backup data in the local storage, in your NAS storage, for example, or in Exabytes cloud storage. It depends, right? You have option for where you want to store your backup data, basically. And for schedule, of course, you can schedule the backup like daily, monthly, weekly, hourly. You can create several type of backup scheme like incremental backup, differential backup, full backup. It's also possible. No worries. Okay, you can add exception there, and then you can enable the application aware backup, like I mentioned earlier, for Microsoft SQL database, for Active Directory, or for Exchange server. So with this imaging technology, faster storage and new protocols have changed RTOs from hours to minutes. However, now many businesses cannot afford even minutes and seek of way to reduce the RTOs to second or even zero, right? While these RTOs can be achieved by traditional technologies like replication, high availability, or fault tolerance, they can carry a high total cost of ownership, or TCO, right? So it's probably prohibitive for small businesses, of course, right? Luckily, new technologies such as Acronis Instant Restore are here to help you achieve RTOs of seconds without high cost. So Acronis Instant Restore, basically, it lets you boot a copy of your system on an existing Microsoft Hyper-V or VMware vSphere ESXi host, right? Directly from the backup storage without moving data. Since you are not moving data, the recovery time is down to seconds. Basically, you can spin up a new virtual machine in your second host, right, from your backup recovery point in your first host within seconds. And then this is one of the unique technology in Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud. We do have Acronis Universal Restore. So basically, you can recover the backup to a dissimilar hardware, right? It doesn't matter the brand, it doesn't matter the specification, basically. For example, I have one Lenovo devices, right, laptop, and then my laptop is crashed, the hard disk is failure, and I bought a new laptop, which is a different brand. I can just simply recover my latest backup to this new laptop. Easy. So for the overview, so what Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud can do is a lot, basically. It's a one single solution for security, for management, and also for backup here, right? So you can do vulnerability assessment here to detect any vulnerabilities application, whether it's a native Microsoft application or a third-party application. And then you can automate the patch. So you don't have to basically log in into one by one PCs, right, or endpoint and install the update for a specific application. No, you don't have to do that. Basically, you can manage all of your patch or all your vulnerabilities in one single management console. Okay. For backup, yes, of course. Like I mentioned earlier, we can do file backup, image backup, application backup, also possible. Network shares backup. You can backup your NAS storage, right? You can backup your data to your NAS also. It's possible, right? To local, to cloud. It's possible. It's really flexible depending on your needs, right? But speaking of the backup, right? It's recommend to have to follow 3-to-1 golden rules, right? You need to have 3 different backup, 2 backup on your production side, and then 1 backup on your offsite, on your outside your environment, basically, in case disaster happen, in case like a 0 days attack happen, you can still recover your data from your offsite backup. That's why cloud storage, it's important, so important. Backup is dead. Acronis Cyber Protect is better protection because we're not providing only backup. We provide a whole complete protection for your endpoint. Significantly extend anti-malware capabilities. So with Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud, we have a technology we call Acronis Active Protection. Basically, this is anti-ransomware with anti-crypto hacking, AI, and machine learning enabled. So our technology, our agent, right? When you install the Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud agent on your endpoint, on your device, it will learn the behavior of your machine, right? Mentioned here, Acronis behavior engine. So every time any suspicious activity from a process, from like an application or from the user itself, right? Our agent will detect that activities and mark it as suspicious, right? Or for active protection itself, we do have a technology we call revert using cache. So basically, when ransomware detected or ransomware triggered, for example, someone click a malicious URL, right, or downloaded a malicious software from internet, right? Basically, our agent will stop the process, right? Detect the process, stop the process, and revert any files that already encrypted with ransomware to the original state. And all of those process will run automatically in your endpoint. So yeah, of course, it will run automatically, but you as a user will receive a notification, whether it's through a console or your email address. It's also possible. And yeah, here mentioned a native integration with Windows Security Center. Okay. AE-based protection against zero-day malware. So a lot of things that we can detect, right? If you notice the videos, Exabyte video, yes, it's true. We can protect 100% of ransomware. It's not a self claim, right? Because we regularly do testing, and later on you will see the result of our test, right? Anti-malware protection for Windows, Linux, and also Mac OS to detect ransomware, to detect a crypto mining process. You can also activate the real-time protection. You can also protect your network folder so no one can modify your data in your local storage, right? And then, yes, of course, we do have quarantine like any other endpoint security solution out there. And the last thing, we do have exclusion management. So if you have a trusted process, application, or specific folder, you can just simply add it to your in your management console. Error-proof immutable backups here, right? So basically, if someone or a hacker deleted your backup, we have immutable backup feature here. So whenever someone accidentally deleted the backup, or the bad actors deleted your backup, or any ransomware attacks happen in your local environment, right, you can still recover your backup, because every single backup that deleted, it will temporarily stored in immutable storage. This is one that I mentioned, one protection plan, right? So every single feature can be activated in one single policy. Endpoint protection, anti-ransomware, patch management, backup, it's all in one. Right? Usually, if you have several applications to protect your endpoint, right, you install the backup agent, you install the anti-ransomware agent, you install the patch management agent, right? You will have 3 different management console, right? You will have like a huge of resource consumption, because you installed a lot of agent there on your endpoint, right? But it will not happen with Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud, because you only need one single agent to be installed. You can control everything in one single pane of glass, one single management console, basically, and you can configure everything in one single policy. What is advantage for you to use Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud? Of course, the first thing is eliminates complexity, right? Kalau kata Indonesia, gak ribet, eliminates complexity, right? Deliver a new security capabilities, because we're not just a backup software. We're not just a backup platform. We do have every single layer for cyber protection, and keep costs down. And then you can just have one vendor, one partner, one solution for everything you need, especially in cyber security. Cyber protection. One license, one agent, one backend, one management console, one user interface, one vendor server line, and then, of course, when share information about protected system. Okay, Acronis is a leader in independent test result. Like I mentioned earlier, we're regularly doing some tests, right, with this independent recognition here, right? Like VB100 virus, AV tests, and so on and so forth. And it's not just a one-time test. We do a regular test every single year. For industry recognition, here we are, right? So we are MVI member, Microsoft, First Total member, Cloud Security Alliance member, anti-malware testing standard organization, and the most important thing, our platform comply with ISO 27001, right? The GDPR, of course, right? And HIPAA for health industry, and GLBR compliant also. This is the fact. This is the data. This is the data that we collect based on our own testing. Yeah. So to detect all of this kind of ransomware, Ragnar, CLOP, Doppelpaymer, Ryuk, or Maze, Acronis can detect like less than an hour. Comparing to other endpoint security solution out there, you can see by yourself, like on my slide here, on my presentation, right? I don't want to mention the brand, but you can see here, right? Even there is a solution that can detect Maze ransomware for more than a week. Imagine that. But with Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud, especially with active protection, it will detect any kind of ransomware within seconds or less than an hour. Okay. So Acronis has a CPOC, Acronis Cyber Protection Operations Center, in 3 different countries: Singapore, Schaffhausen, Switzerland, and Scottsdale, sorry, in the US there. So basically, they are monitor everything in the internet, what's happening in the internet for like 365, 7, and 24 hours. If any new there's any new breaches, any new ransomware attack, all of the Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud user will be notified directly to your management console. I will show later. And here, for vulnerability assessment and patch management, Acronis is a leader. We support to patch not 250 to be exact. As of right now, we support almost 300 third-party Windows application. To be exact, 283 third-party application that you can patch automatically via our console. And you can access this link if you want to, right? From G2, Acronis for patch management, right? Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud is #1. It's on top of the grid, right? Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud is like a pocket knife. We do have scissors, we do have knife, we do have screwdriver, and so on and so forth. Yeah, bottle opener also, right? And this is the protection funnel of Acronis Cyber Protection. We can cover all of the security layer from proactive protection, active protection, and then reactive protection. For example, for proactive protection, you can do a vulnerability assessment to scan all of your vulnerabilities on your device applications and do the patch, right? To make sure your application always up to date. Because like Kevin mentioned earlier, right? The threat, the threat or the what is it called? The ransomware can also attack any outdated application in your endpoint. Right. For active protection, we do have anti-malware, of course, and then the anti-ransomware protection. For reactive protection, this is the protection that actually we don't want to use, right? Because if we use the reactive protection, it means something happened with our environment, right? Which is the backup and recovery here. Okay. Okay, that's all for me for the slides. So let's move on into a live demo so you can visualize basically how the Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud works and how to easily manage your endpoint. Okay, let me close this slide first. Here we go. So yeah. Okay, so this is the Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud Management Console. You can see everything here. Right? First, you can see the monitoring. I just added a new widget here, right? A new widget. It's like you're on your phone, right? You can add a widget here. You can drag and drop a widget. You can filter out the widget, change the filter here, something like this, right? In this case, I have one Windows 10 Pro machine installed in my own laptop, basically, and I just do a vulnerability scan, and the agent found that there is an update for Google Chrome, and I just triggered the patch, the update from this management console, and you can also see this patch installation history here, right? For Google Chrome, a latest version here, and it's the status it's installed basically. And every single patch that already installed will be listed here. And the good thing is, right, many of IT staff or the engineer need to do a regular report to your manager or to your executive, for example. No worries, because you can download the report easily here. You can download in 2 different formats, Excel or PDF, or you can simply send the report to any email. Activities, this is where you can monitor what's happening in your environment. If the backup runs, for example, the patch installing the patch, right? Update the agent, and so on and so forth. And in terms of a ransomware detection or threat detection, or if something happened with the backup, actually you will able to see everything here on the alerts menu. But unfortunately, there's no alerts for now, right? So yeah. Okay, I forgot to mention this at first, basically, how to start to protect your device. Of course, you need to install the agent, right? You can simply click add button here and you will find supported type of workload, right? You can simply click on the icon here and the agent will download it automatically to your device. Simple. Double click the installation, double click the installation, of course, and register the machine. Right? After that, you will see your device listed here, like mine here, right? Windows 10 Pro, basically. On the last presentation, I mentioned a lot about one single protection plan, basically, right? So where is that? Basically, you can click on your device, click protect here, and you can see your protection plan. We call it protection plan because other backup solution might call it like a backup plan or backup policy, right? But Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud, in Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud, we call it protection plan because it's not for only backup. It's also for anti-ransomware, vulnerability assessment, and patch management. You can add plan here and create your new plan. But in this case, I'll just edit my existing plan. I click edit here. Now, this is the one that you saw on my slide for the backup specifically. You can back up the entire machine, specific drive or partition or volumes. You can choose where do you want to store the backup, cloud storage, or add your own local folder or network folder. It's possible, easy. And then from here, you can schedule the backup, of course, monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, it doesn't matter. You can do everything here. How many to keep? It's basically the retention. How many you want to keep the backup, right? You can choose by number of backup option here or by backup age. You can simply define how many you want to keep the backup. 2 years, 1 year, 10 years. It's also possible. Let's change it to 6 years. Okay, done. Application backup, if you want to enable the application level aware backup here for Microsoft SQL, Exchange Server, or Active Directory, simply enable it from here. That's all. Probably you need to fill out your database or Exchange administration credential. That's all for the backup. We just simply collect this menu and then let's go move on to another option, which is antivirus and anti-malware protection. Active protection, the one that I mentioned a lot, basically it's our anti-ransomware. It's protect a system from malicious software known as ransomware that encrypts file and demands a ransom for the encryption key. And please make sure you choose revert using cache, right? Because it will stop the ransomware, detect the ransomware, stop the ransomware, generate an alert, right? And revert any encrypted file to the original state automatically. Okay, self-protection, it's also important. Basically, it will protect the agent itself, a chronic cyber protocol agent, right? To protect the registry record, the configuration, and also it will protect your backup located in your local storage. No one can modify the backup, no one can rename or move or delete the backup, basically, right? And then if you want to add more security, you can enable the password protection here to protect the agent for, you know, someone, if someone tried to uninstall the agent, right? Like any other endpoint security solution, we do have schedule scan settings here, quick scan, full scan, custom scan, everything can be configured in one single protection plan. Okay, and this is the exclusion that I mentioned earlier. Okay, for vulnerability assessment, you can pick and choose what kind of which application that you want to scan for vulnerabilities, Microsoft product or also with Windows third-party product. For Microsoft product, we support almost everything, every native Windows Microsoft native application. For Windows third-party product, I mentioned earlier, to be exactly, we support 283 third-party application. Okay, and this is the schedule for the vulnerability scan. And we move on into patch management. You can select which updates you want to apply to your machine, all updates or only security and critical updates, or you can specify which application that you want to keep updated. But yeah, for recommendation, we suggest you to keep all of your applications updated. The OS, the collaboration tools like Zoom, like Teams, WebEx, because you know you guys use that regularly, daily, right? Even now, right? And Windows third-party product, yes, you can choose where you can to major updates, minor updates, or update any specific product. Also, the schedule and pre-updated backup. It's important because when you enable this pre-update backup, or we call it fail-safe patching, whenever you want the agent will install the patch, it will basically create a new backup. It will trigger a backup before the patch install it, because if something happened with the patch, the patch is buggy, the patch is unstable, right? You can easily roll back the state of your machine to previous backup, to the latest backup. Easy, simple, right? We do have also device control, basically. So you can prevent any insider threats, right? To block your endpoint interfaces, to block the removable storage, to block printers, Bluetooth, clipboard, screenshot, everything can be blocked here. Everything in one single protection plan, right? One agent installed, one single protection plan, and one single management console here. You configured all of those, right? You're good to go. I mean, you can just sit and relax. You got ease of mind for the security. If something happened, you will notify by the alert on the alerts menu or your email, and you don't have to do anything about that, because especially for the ransomware attack, right? Because our agent will do the job for you, basically, right? And all of this menu, of course, I have no time to explain everything here, but of course, you can always approach Exabyte team, right, to get to know more about the product itself, right, to get to know more about the backup, the capabilities, right, and the price, of course, right. And yeah, that's all for me for this session. Thank you, everyone, and I over to you, Siti. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Irzal, for the product knowledge sharing. It's very wonderful to hear you, share, and also with the live demo just now, especially how acronyms can help to protect you and also your business.
Yes.
Again, if you have any questions in regards to acronyms, how acronyms is beneficial or fitting to your business, be sure to post it into the Q&A box. Okay, all right. Now, coming to the final part of our webinar, we will take this time to address questions posted during this session. Again, I would like to inform you that Mr. Eric Fu needs to leave us earlier to another urgent agenda, but don't worry, we have our speakers, Mr. Kevin Fu and also Mr. Izzal, to help answer your questions. All right. So let's move number one questions from our from our attendees. All right, so this question, from our attendees Fu Jiu. Okay, so yeah, maybe I can address this question to Mr. Kevin Fu to help answer this question. All right, morning to all speakers. What is your opinion or suggestion about many cases recently happened to banking customers that have been hacked into their account to withdraw the money without the account owner knowing or aware of it? Even bank OTP, they also didn't receive when one need to transfer out from their own account. All right, so thank you. All right, so Mr. Kevin Fu, maybe you can help to answer this question.
Thanks, Siti. So so just a comment on this one, this question. So on the bank OTP and the victim that never received OTP. So we only hear one side of story. So we are not sure whether the victim's phone is actually being compromised or not. So really can't comment much. But technically, if let's say we have issue with data breaches, so the attacker can actually do social engineering to get a SIM swap. So when you have a problem like SIM swap, the OTP will send to the new SIM instead of your old one. So the other things that can be happening is internal job from the bank. So we don't have any information on that, and we can't say much on it on that issue as well. As for the protection for ourselves, I think we can do is try not to install any what you call it, malicious or unknown software to your handphone, especially your smartphone. And also, what the other things that you can do, actually, you can set a lower transfer limit to your bank account to prevent what you call it, transferring your bank balance to other bank to other accounts, right? So basically, that is what we can do. Yep.
All right. So we hope, the explanation just now able to help to answer from a full Jiu question. All right. Now let's move for the question number 2. So again, this question is for Mr. Kevin Fu. How the ransomware attacker launched the attack? And just now, Mr. Kevin Fu showed a small piece of script, block skipping, and etc. That script need to be run in victim's PC, laptop, or can be done remotely. How the attacker run the script? Which medium that usually used by the attacker to infect the victim's PC, laptop with that script? Yeah, this is very interesting question.
Okay. So for that question, right? So when there's a dropper for the ransomware or the malicious software, what they do is they actually can embed PowerShell script command that actually can download the piece of software and run it automatically. So the other way of running that piece of malware is actually doing the manual one. So just now I shared, right, there's a RDP attack, brute force. The attacker is actually remote into your machine and run it manually. So for the automated one, it's actually, they can embed that piece of what you call it, script into a document, and also something like the malicious binary as well. So when you click and you run the things, it will execute the command, it will download the scriptlet or the binary, and then it will execute the command, it will run, it will encrypt your file. So you are actually assisted the, what you call it, the execution of the malicious software.
Okay, very good explanation from Mr. Kevin Fu. So now we already know how attackers launch their attacks, right? Okay, so moving for the next question. So yeah, I believe all these questions addressed to Mr. Izar Ramalani. All right, so Irzal, is Acronis instant restore support only MS Hyper-V and VMware only? Yeah.
Okay, that's a quick answer for me. Yes, for the target, but you can definitely recover any machines like on your own premises backup or your public cloud backup to your Hyper-V and VMware with via instant restore.
All right, so this is more technical part, right? Okay, now next question. Can we recover files that have been infected by ransomware using Acronis, and what is the percentage chance that the files can be recovered? Okay, what about this, Mr. Irizal?
No, we cannot, because we are a prevention. Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud is a prevention tool. It's always good to invest on the security rather than, pay for, recover your infrastructure. So it's like insurance, basically. It's important. It's a prevention tool, to be exact. Thank you.
All right, so it's better to have to cure first, right? Okay, prevention better than cure. All right. So next, all right. Question from Azrul Azman. Hi, okay, Acronis and VM is same method. Sorry if I pronounce it wrongly.
Yeah, it's okay. So we cannot compare Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud with Veeam, because Veeam, it's only backup, but Acronis, it's all-in-one cyber protection solution. But in terms of backup feature, yes, we do the same. Basically, we can back up a full level image, we can recover a full entire machine, or even a specific files and folder, like I explained earlier. But probably we have several different kind of technologies like instant restore, universal restore. That Veeam doesn't have that. Thank you.
All right, so now, okay, attendees know the difference. All right, okay. So yeah, you know what? The questions right now, I believe all addressed to you, Mr. Irzan. Okay, all right. So can Acronis be used for digital forensic solution? If yes, is there any free certification from Acronis that can be accessed?
Okay, somehow yes, right? Yeah. For forensic, because you can enable a forensic mode on your backup. So if something happened with your environment, right? Something happened with your endpoint, you can download and analyze the forensic logs, like with details, right? If we talk about forensic, it's a lot of details, like who accessed your server, who accessed the backup, who triggered, from which IP, from where, and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's something possible. Is there any free certification from Acronis that can be accessed? I'm not sure for which certification that you are referring to, right?
All right, so we hope, okay, this is able to answer Yolanda's question just now. Now from Baraba Fediro. All right, so what ports does Acronis use, and does Acronis work with SSD?
What ports does Acronis? Okay, I can send you the documentation. Actually, yeah, we have several ports, but it's a secured TCP port, TCP or UDP port, like 443, right? Or we use Quartet 4.5 port for the management, right? So make sure all of those ports is enabled or allowed or open on your devices before you install the agent, basically. And does Acronis work with SSD? Yes, definitely. Of course, it's this best storage that you can get, right? Even with ADD, you can use the Acronis to store the backup. But for SSD, it's to overkill to store the data on SSD, right? Just use SSD for sure.
You know what, Mr. Iza, this is very something new for me, Yeah, I learned so many things from this session. Now let's go for next question. Do Acronis use a magic transit?
I'm not sure what kind of magic transit that are you referring to, Pak Agung. But you can always drop me an email, irzal.ramadlani@acronis.com if you want to have more discussion about that. Thank you.
All right, good. So from Fuad Abdul Hamid, all right, so he stated here, I backup all my business data to Microsoft OneDrive. Do clarify the need on why I should backup my already backup data in the cloud. Is the existing security filters provided by Microsoft not sufficient? How?
Not really, but I have approved, right, from Microsoft itself on their service level agreement. They recommend all of the Microsoft product user to have a backup from third-party application, because who knows, even a huge company like Microsoft, it's not claim 100% secure or 100% SLA, right? So it's good to have a backup plan, basically. And for OneDrive, to be exact, I'm not sure, but if I'm not mistaken, you only can keep the retention for Microsoft OneDrive or Teams or Mailbox in Microsoft backup. It's only for 30 days, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But with Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud, you can keep your OneDrive data as long as you want.
Okay, good.
Especially with the Exabytes, right? With free 10 terabyte of cloud storage for Microsoft 365. It's a good offer.
It's a good enough, right? Okay.
Right.
So yeah, this one, AWS is supported or not?
Yes, supported, as long as the operating system running is in our supported list, right?
All right.
Yes.
Study it is supported, right? Okay, now for Walid, how much to pay to use this cloud? I think this one, our business development team are able to help to answer this, Mr. Walid. All right, so from Chong, okay, Mansang, with Acronis protection, will it slow down the server? Yeah, I also wondering about this.
Okay, yeah. So Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud is using one single agent, right? For every single functionality that you activate, that you enabled on the protection plan. When it comes to resources, this is based on my testing, right? So it only consumes around 300 megabyte of RAM if I only enable the backup. If I enable the backup and also the active protection, it will consume around 600 megabyte. Right. If I enable the backup, the active protection, and also the patch management, for example, it will consume less than 1 gigabyte of RAM, of memory, right? You can imagine and compare how resource consumption in Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud with your existing solution. Like if you have 3 different agents installed, backup, patch management, anti-ransomware, you can summarize, right? Calculate all of the resources and compare with one single agent that Acronis installed for the consumption. Yeah.
All right.
With answer your question, thank you.
Okay. So again, for you, Mr. Iza, okay, you have, okay. So, hi Iza, I'm Abi Fatam from Faiz One. What if our client has a data hosted with cPanel and a disaster occurs at that provider? Can it be transferred directly to a new provider? and how long is the duration, which package is more suitable? I think you can answer the first two questions. Yes.
Yes, yeah, it's possible actually. Actually, Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud is support to backup cPanel on the application level aware. So basically, you can find Acronis extension or plugin in your cPanel marketplace, and then you can integrate basically the Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud that you bought on from Exabytes with your cPanel. And then if disaster occurs, you have the backup on the cloud. You can recover only specific database, only specific account, only specific website, or only specific user. It's possible.
Right. So, Mr. Kevin, maybe you want to add something for that question just now. Okay. Maybe you have any opinions or any things to add, Mr. Kevin? All right. So,
Hi, sorry.
yeah.
So
Maybe you want to add something.
on the performance itself, I mean, sorry, I can't see the question now.
Right. Yeah, it is about, okay, if our client has data hosted with cPanel, then a disaster occur at that provider, can it be transferred directly to a new provider?
It's actually, we do offer the backup and disaster recovery services as well. So if the option for disaster recovery is not really opt-in, so it will not be automated. So that's why we need to subscribe for additional service. If you go on with the cPanel, just the normal backup, it's not a disaster recovery. You can subscribe to that service to have your service running in another location as a backup or as a, what do you call it, the hot standby or something like that. Yeah.
All right, very good explanation from Mr. Kevin Fu. Now the next question, okay, for I think this one, okay, for Mr. Irzal. Does Acronis have apps installers for Windows, iOS, Android OS other than the cloud?
Yes, you can protect your mobile phones, Windows Phone, iOS, or Android for backup. You can back up the most important part in your phone, which is media, contact, and also calendar and reminder also it's support.
All right. So I think we need to, because of a limited time right now, so let's have a final question, but don't worry, for the rest, we will have to answer it, okay, by sending email to you, okay? All right, so the final question, okay, again from, okay, this one for Mr. Irzal, Ifan Rosdi, is Acronis able to protect Synology NAS? Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Mr. Irvan, yes, we support to backup NAS. You can attach a backup server that installed with Acronis agent with NAS, right? You can protect that NAS and store the data to cloud or to your other local storage. Or you can actually install the Docker container agent inside the NAS. That's also possible. Thank you. Hope it's answered your question.
All right. Okay. So yeah, I believe we already done with the Q&A session because of a very limited time right now. But don't worry, again, we will have to answer your questions, okay, after this through email as well. All right. So yeah, okay, that's bring us to the end of our webinar today. We hope you have gained some insights, found the topic shared today useful and also actionable. I would like to give a big thank you to all attendees for staying till the end, and your participation is very much appreciated. A big thank you to all guest speakers, okay, Ms. Michelle Yap, Mr. Eric Fu, Mr. Kevin Fu, and also Mr. Irzal Ramadhani, okay, on your contribution to this cybersecurity webinar. All right. So before we end this webinar, I would like to invite all participants, okay, to help us complete the feedback form. So yeah, maybe my team can help to, okay, show the screen as well for the feedback form. All right. So we appreciate, okay, your feedback to help us continuously improve. All right. So maybe we can give you a few seconds to scan this QR code. so that you can give the feedback so that we can improve the webinar as well. All right, and also my team already share the link inside the chat box there, so you can scan this QR code or simply click on the link that she already shared to you. All right, so this one, all right, the feedback form. Okay, we really appreciate you guys can help to answer this. All right, then moving to the next one. Okay, moving to the next one. So this one, if you are interested, in learning more about cybersecurity and the solutions to protect your business from cyber threats, feel free to scan our codes to visit our website and learn. Right? So basically, you can see if you are from Malaysia, you can scan number one, QR code here. Same goes from Singapore and also Indonesia as well. All right, so yeah, maybe my team also already sent the link, so you can also click the link that we already shared it to you. All right, so we are moving towards the end of the webinar already. A virtual applause for everyone here today. I'm your MC Munira. Thanks for being great audience today. Okay, so see you and take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you, Mr. Eric, Mr. Kevin, Miss Michelle, and also Mr. Irzal Ramadhani.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Southeast Asia's leading cloud hosting provider since 2001, with 20 years of experience. But today, we are more than that. We power over 160,000 businesses worldwide, covering SMEs, government agencies, corporate companies, individuals, and more. Offering domain name, web hosting, server, cloud, managed e-commerce, digital marketing, business solutions, marketing tools, and more. With our core values in mind: reliable, affordable, simplified, and advantage. using the power of technology to grow your business online. Exabytes, Southeast Asia's leading all-in-one business, cloud, digital, and e-commerce solution provider.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.